Today's case, you versus your own mindset. I got your attention, didn't I? We're talking about manifesting better relationships and navigating the madness. Welcome back to Heart of the Case, where we blend true crime, empathy, and life lessons all in one. Whenever you're listening to this, I hope that things are so much better for you. And if they're not, then that's maybe why you're listening to this, and things will get so much better, I promise. But earlier this year in January, when we had the inauguration, I did a little episode on just my reactions and everything from it. I had a really good response, and so I'm taking space today. It is our heartbreak. We are not discussing a true crime in this episode, but just you versus your own mindset. That's right. We're diving into one of the most misunderstood and low-key mind-blowing concepts. I feel like I need a drum roll here. Everyone is you pushed out. I'm going to repeat that. Everyone is you pushed out. If you're skeptical, stick around, because I promise that this isn't just some woo-woo fluff. I have been taking lessons in law of attraction and things of that nature, and really have found a lot of big changes in my life. So I'm ready to share them with you today, because I feel like you're going to see these changes as well. We're making this practical today. You know me. So what does everyone is you pushed out even mean, right? I want to get right down to it. Let's break it down. This phrase comes from Neville Goddard. I don't even know if I'm saying that right, but Neville Goddard, a guy who basically said, your assumption about life creates your reality.
Visualize your desires as if they have already been realized. Feel the emotions associated with your success. This isn't mere daydreaming. This is conscious creation. When you focus on positive outcomes, when you believe that what you seek is already yours, you set the stage for attraction. There is no need to chase when you are certain of your worth and your destiny. The universe responds to the frequency you emit, and when your mind is aligned with your goals, the path to them unfolds naturally.
Essentially, we create our own reality. It's like when you walk into a party expecting no one to like you, and guess what? Everyone suddenly seems very standoffish. People don't gravitate towards you. No one wants to be around you. So of course, you're going to assume no one likes you. Coincidence? I don't know, maybe, quite possibly, but also I've tend to gotten down to the idea that maybe not. I don't think it's a coincidence. Maybe our energy walked in first and did all the talking before we even opened our mouth. I know, and if you have an RBF, you know exactly what this is. It's that resting bee face. I have it myself, and I'm guessing many of you have it out there, and it's protective. For me, I was bullied in 4th and 5th grade, and it really did a number on me to where I really did feel I couldn't be social. People were not going to understand me or like me, or even worse, pretend they like me and secretly talk behind my back. That was my story, a very early story that attached onto me in my early elementary years, or my later elementary years, I should say. But nonetheless, I found validation and did not socialize for much of my middle school and even high school. It was something that I really had to reframe because it stuck with me. So I want to kind of take a pause. I'm not going to actually pause, but you can pause if you feel so inclined and moved to really think back to what assumptions are you making about yourself as you're on the way to work, as you're headed to the party or getting ready, washing dishes. That's when I listen to podcasts. But if you were to slow down and really think about what assumptions you're holding as truth and where did they evolve from? Where did they stem from? Maybe you have ideas and juices flowing already. So for me, I mentioned it was the fact that I wasn't social, that I didn't make friends easily, that I was not easy to work with, which are all things, if you have ever met me, I think some people would agree with, which are all things that I inherently believed about myself. So when I would walk into rooms, already with this mindset in hand, arms crossed, right? Because I'm trying to protect myself, RBF going on. Of course, no one bothered to introduce themselves to me, to make friends with me, because that's just cause and effect, right? If I walk in arms crossed, I'm not going to get a warm welcome reception. I'm not going to have an easy time making friends, and that's exactly what I found. There's a few more examples I want to give. Let's talk coffee. You know I love coffee, and I don't know if you're a Starbucks fan or not. It's either like you love it or you hate it, but let's talk about the Starbucks test. Have you ever woke up late, spilled your coffee on yourself, or just all over the kitchen floor, which I have? I talked about this in like my second episode here. It happens to the best of us. But let's say you head off to Starbucks and you happen to get the barista that's just having the worst morning as well, right? They just are slapping you with this tude. My husband calls it tude. Ultimately just an attitude, sassy. That's you. That's you pushed out. Now, rewind, okay? Because I know it's hard to take accountability, but imagine if you woke up in the same late rush scenario, spill coffee all over yourself, but instead of spiraling and storming out the door in a huff, let's say you laughed it off. You took a breath, you took a beat. Then at Starbucks, the same barista magically seems friendly. It's not magic. Babes, it is not magic. It's you pushed out. One more. So the boss is out to get me theory. All right. So my working babes, if you constantly believe that your boss dislikes you, you'll interpret every email, every sigh, every, hey, can I see you in my office, as proof that they hate you. But if you assume they respect you, maybe they're a little withdrawn, maybe they're too busy, it's not about you, it's nothing personal, they don't hate you, they fully respect you, they hired you, you'll pick up on different cues, like the time that they complimented your work, like the time that they gave you extra responsibility because they trust you. Yes. And that can have its ups and downs, right? That trust. But if you're in that scenario, guess what? They don't hate you. They trust you. And you start reversing that a bit because everyone is you pushed out. Because we are in February, and I do want to talk a little bit about relationships as well. Have you ever met someone and thought, oh my God, like they're totally gonna ghost me. I'm not gonna hear back from this person. This is too perfect. And then, surprise, you know what happens next. They absolutely ghost you. But the real question is, I want you to reframe. You're catching on, so you know what I'm gonna say. Were you texting them like a confident, self-assured person? Or were you spiraling, overanalyzing, watching the time tick? The energy you send is the energy that you get back.
Our thoughts create our reality. If you're constantly telling yourself that you're not good enough, not capable, or unworthy, you're lowering your vibration. Raising your vibration is about aligning yourself with higher states of consciousness, like love, joy, and peace. This isn't just about feeling good. It's about becoming a powerful co-creator of your reality.
And I know that's hard to sit with. It's hard to feel that we have that much control. In fact, it might be a little bit of like a backflip in your mind. It might just be too topsy-turvy for your mind because we're often told that we only can control ourselves and we can't control others. But I'm going to double down on that because if you can control your mindset, then you're focusing on a positive mindset, ultimately, hopefully. If you're not, then it's time to switch that up because when you throw a positive mindset out there, it comes back to you.
The first thing you need to give up is negative self-talk, and it's something that affects all of us at some point. Our inner world, our thoughts, feelings, and beliefs shapes our outer reality. When you raise your vibration, you're aligning with your true nature, and as a result, you begin to manifest more of what you desire effortlessly.
I want to address the elephant in the room. Does this mean you attracted that toxic ex, or that rude coworker, or the horrible boss? Look, this isn't about blaming yourself. I don't want us to go into that spiral at all. That's not the point of this. It's about recognizing patterns. If you keep meeting the same type of emotionally unavailable partners, it's time to check the stories that you're telling yourself about relationships and what you deserve. Do you deep down expect people to leave you? Do you expect connection? Do you assume people don't respect your boundaries? Your subconscious mind is handing you receipts constantly. It can't do anything different. And it won't do anything different unless you change your mindset. And I want to be real. I want to be real with you. The world feels like it's on fire some days. It truly does. And we're getting those mental receipts back, right? So how does this help in today's chaotic world? Because my other hope for this episode is that by the end, you're able to manage more of what's going on, because I know it hasn't been pleasant. Honestly, like everyone else, I think I'm just a little bit scared about what's to come. Social media, arguments, political drama, and people just generally acting unhinged. There's no other way to put it. But everyone is you pushed out. This concept, everyone is you pushed out, gives you power in a world that feels powerless. So instead of feeding into negativity, I really want you to shift that mindset, the mindset we've been talking about, into the idea that people are willing to listen. It's all we do all day long on our phones. We're listening, we're consuming. People are willing to consume and listen. People want to learn. Incoming affirmation, I attract respectful discussions. That's just it. That's the mindset. I attract respectful discussions. Doesn't mean everyone has to agree with me. And suddenly, the algorithm starts showing you less drama and more thoughtful conversations. Coincidence? Or you pushed out a new energy. Now let's get into the Valentine's connection part, right? Maybe we need both. 3 tips here. 3 tips. Assume the best. Next time your partner, your friend, is acting a little bit off, don't immediately jump to the worst case scenario. Don't assume that they're going to leave you. Don't assume that they're cheating on you. Assume that they love and appreciate you and respond from that space. I almost feel it through the wavelength that some of you may be thinking that this sounds pretty familiar and pretty close to toxic positivity. And I want to share that I also had the same idea, because I used to be the opposite. I used to assume the worst so that I didn't have to be let down. And guys, that is just manipulative to yourself, to be honest. I did that as another form of protection. But as I really reframe, and it's tough to assume the best out of people, especially in the role that I have, and I'm working with a lot of need, problems. And that's not easy to do. So that's why this mindset is even more important, to just assume the best and test it with strangers. Walk into a store assuming the cashier is going to be friendly, and watch how they mirror that energy. I really want you to take that as homework today. Try to see who mirrors your energy, and you can't fake yourself out on this. It's not like a fake it till you make it type of thing. One of my clients used to call it gaslighting himself. He would say, I'm going to gaslight myself. And that was honestly pushing out a positive mindset with the hopes of getting it back and just flipping the energy. It's really important to reframe negative patterns. You may be doing this with your clients as well, and it's time to do it for yourself. If you always expect people to betray you, try flipping the script. Another affirmation incoming. People in my life value and respect me. And let's watch how different situations unfold. Now we're waiting for those subconscious receipts to come in. Whew. So if you're rolling your eyes, I get it. But humor me. Test it out for a week. Play with it like a social experiment if you must. You might be surprised at what shifts. And hey, if it works, you just hacked life just a little more. And that's not bad. All right, that's it for today. That's it. If this episode resonated with you, I need to know who my people are. Please, please, please share it with a friend who needs a mindset glow up. And if you try this out, if you're listening now, DM me on Instagram, tag me on Instagram, tag this episode wherever you're watching, either on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I can't wait to see if this touches anybody. I want to hear all the wild results because I know that they're out there. I feel it. Until next time, stay safe, stay mindful, and remember, you're the main character in your life story. So write a good one. New episodes of Heart of the Case drop every single week on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and on YouTube Podcast.